Am I the asshole for charging $25 to clean my family's home for a weekend? I should clarify that I am from the UK and healthcare here is free. I use American language as when I use British people get confused. I, F22, visited my family home about a month ago after moving out November 2022. I will have to give some backstory and I will do my best to stay neutral. Mum, F43, has asthma, Raynaud syndrome in her feet, diabetes and now a damaged knee. Dad, M44, has a condition called HS, search at your own risk. It's a gross skin condition that's very painful, and struggles most days to get out of bed. Bro, M23, has autism, functioning, and his girlfriend, F24, recently moved into my parents' place. Me on the other hand have fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome and various mental issues. Back to the story. I visited my parents a month ago and when I walked in it looked like a hoarder's home. Dishes piled high, moldy food everywhere, laundry pile almost fill in the kitchen, weeds and grass all over the front and backyard, trash in every room and a horrible smell. I got annoyed and talked to my mum about what was happening. My mum has been stuck upstairs because she had a fall and damaged her back, then found out her knee was damaged, resulting in her unable to walk practically anywhere. My dad has been her carer. Now my brother works Monday-Friday from 6 a.m. 2 p.m. at a friend's cafe. His girlfriend only works a few hours part-time at a different cafe. I told my mum that I am charging them $25 so I can get the house back into working order with no mold or anything so that when my mum is able to get around again she won't risk going into hospital because of the spores. My brother has resented me ever since. I yelled at all of them because it should never have gotten as bad as it did and I live 30 minutes away and would help them in a heartbeat. I have visited weekly since to make sure it was stayed on top of and it hasn't. My brother does all the cooking, my dad cares for my mum and my brother's girlfriend does nothing. I've been staying here now for weeks and it's still awful. I've been cooking and cleaning daily and it's starting to affect my fibromyalgia. My mum asked me to stay to help care for her and begged me to help get the house in working order. My brother keeps telling me that I shouldn't charge family money for helping them. If I had gotten a professional they would be looking at $100 or more of a charge to clean it. He resents me for doing what I thought was right for their health. My parents knew that I was only charging because it was an extra reason for the family to keep the place clean. I know how cheap my family can be sometimes, but my mum was the one who paid me, not my brother, when I said that each couple, mum plus dad and bro plus GF, pay 50-50. My brother makes me feel like what I did was wrong and it's getting to the point I don't feel welcome in the home I grew up in. TLDR. Family home was awful when I arrived a month ago, so yelled at everyone and charged $25 to get it back in order and it hasn't stuck. Am I the asshole for charging my family money for cleaning? Not the asshole, you're right that it's more of a fee to keep them from relying on you to be their housemaid. Not the asshole, I assume $25, converted to pounds, is mostly a token amount and yes, I think that was a brilliant way to handle a difficult situation. Your brother is being an asshole here. You don't owe help, but clearly you are family and want to help, but you do need to draw a line so that you don't become the primary caregiver by default. Not the asshole. I wouldn't clean for family for as little as $25 unless they had a good reason for needing help. Neither your brother or your girlfriend have one. Your parents are both suffering with medical conditions, and some of those that you listed can get expensive. I don't feel charging them any amount of money is the right thing to do. Your brother, while autistic, is able-bodied and should be helping regardless of work status because he lives there too. Am I the asshole I fed my kids stale food and called my wife lazy? I, 37M, and my wife, 36F, have 2 kids, 5 female and 7 female. My wife is pregnant with our 3rd kid now. She's 20 weeks pregnant. So my daughters have never been picky about their food since I used to cook all meals and never introduced them to junk food. However, about 2 months back I was assigned to a new project at work and started working long hours, 70 per week, so I have been unable to cook as often now. I wanted to hire a cook because my wife was having severe pregnancy symptoms, but my wife said she wanted to try cooking for our kids and she also didn't like the idea of a stranger at our house. I agreed to her idea since she suggested it herself. For the first month or so, she cooked pretty diligently for the kids and both of us as well. However, after that, she reduced the quality of the meals. What I mean is, she started making easy-to-cook foods for the kids. She also started giving them junk foods as snacks so that they wouldn't be that hungry for real meals. I chalked it up to her pregnancy nausea for the first few weeks, but last week when I prepared an elaborate meal for the family on Sunday, the kids refused to even touch the food because they wanted the usual buttered noodles. So I told my wife that I'd be cooking all the meals from now onwards because the kids are getting spoiled from eating junk food all the time. She got mad at me and said that she's trying her hardest and I should be more appreciative. I told her no one forced her to cook and I had already suggested hiring a cook, but she was the one who refused. She said that I don't understand her discomfort with having a cook and that hiring one was out of the question. She also told me that I can cook all meals if I think it is so easy to feed the kids healthy food. I told her that I would do just that. That very night, I stayed up making different kinds of healthy food options for the week. Fruit salad, chicken stir-fry, pasta sauce, with veggies, mushrooms and tomatoes, then blended it all, cauliflower soup and banana bread. I froze everything so they can be reheated during the week. I have been just reheating food throughout the week and giving it to the kids. Since they want only noodles, I add the sauce and chicken stir-fry to the noodles along with grated cheese. They just eat it without detecting any veggies in it. For their school lunches I pack ham and cheese, tuna, chicken sandwiches the night before along with fruit salad and chocolate milk. They get a slice of banana bread for after-school snack. Sandwiches and soup for dinner for me and my wife. My wife told me the food tastes good, but it's stale food, so she doesn't think it's any better than what she used to cook for the family. I told her at least I was putting effort into the meals, unlike her who was using the kids' picky behavior as an excuse to be lazy. She got mad at me and said that she wasn't being lazy and that the kids really were picky. Now she's not speaking to me for the past 2 days. Am I the asshole? I don't understand how the food is stale. Is this some elitism over it being reheated? I am not making a judgment, but I do have a suggestion. If the problem for having a cook is someone in her home, I know there are services that a professional chief can cook for a week and just drop off the food. I recognize this as being very privileged as a kid. At one of my school raffles my mother won this service for 6 months. Best mac and cheese ever. He came once a week and just dropped everything off. I bet you can find one that comes daily if it being stale is the problem. Not the asshole. This thread would be an all-time roast if the genders were switched. It would set records for the use of the term, weaponized incompetence. Info. What exactly is considered junk food here? It is not uncommon for my kids to just want buttered noodles, then the next day want veggies with their meal. What was she feeding them in place of meals? In Ta, I don't understand how it's stale. I meal cook on weekends and that's what we eat all week. It saves time and the kids enjoy it. Am I the asshole for not offering my mother my grad money? I, 18F. Just graduated high school a few days ago and a lot of people have been sending me money as a congratulations. It's a lot of money so far. Although it's been very tempting, I ultimately decided that I will not use this money and put it towards my spending money for when I go to college in the fall. Attending school in a major city, so I need all the money I can get. I have also been working a job over the summer so I can save more money. When we left church this week, the congregation gave me about $500. Because this was a lot of money, I asked my mom if I could some of it to get a pedicure, but she said no and that it was for college, so I obliged. But a day after receiving the money my mother told me, not asked me, that she was using my money to pay bills. This is not new to me. She has been using my money for a while without asking, and while she does pay it back it usually takes a while and sometimes she doesn't give me my money back at all. She has access to my bank accounts. I haven't gotten a new one because I'm still freshly 18. I have been told I'm selfish when I get upset about this because my mom does a lot for me and my siblings as a single mother. At the same time, I feel like it is her job to provide those basic necessities and I have been paying for most of my own recreational stuff since I was 16. Just today I was talking to my grandmother and she told me that my mom was upset and crying because I didn't offer her my grad money even though she was the one who told me that I couldn't spend it in the first place. She's already spending my money for bills and I know she would have said no if I offered it, but she still just wanted to hear me offer it. Furthermore, she already gave my older sister $100 of my money that I handed to her for safekeeping because I didn't have anywhere else to put it. When I asked my grandma why she needed my money, she said that my mom is tapped out from our graduation even though I spent my money on the dress I wore to graduation, the materials to decorate my cap, nail polish I wore, the actual cap and gown. The tickets to graduation were free and she didn't give me a grad gift. At most, she paid for my dinner we had and she's going to put money towards my grad party in July. In fact, I have been going out of my way to make sure I didn't ask my mom for any money because I know that she has her own things to pay for as well. I am very upset by the situation, but I can't help but feel like a brat because I do have a lot of money and I didn't intend on sharing it. In a family where we struggle financially, we were raised to believe that we don't own anything and that we all give our materials to be shared amongst the group as a team, and I know this. My mom requires me and my twin to give her all of our grad money, so it's not like I could stop her from using my money anyways, but they still want me to offer. Am I the asshole for not offering and acting selfish? Not the asshole. You are 18 now, make sure she can't get a hold of your accounts. It's fine to help her but not for her to guilt you. You're 18. Get your own bank account and transfer the funds, like yesterday. Your mother is taking advantage of you. Tell your pastor what your mother did with the money the congregation gave you. Your mother will freak out that the church knows. Meaning, she knows what she is doing it wrong. Not the asshole. I'm sorry your mom has put you in this position with the guilt tripping and honestly the money stealing. I get that she's a single mom, but you've been trying to help out and pay for things yourself. I would get a bank account in your name and transfer all the money you have to a private account. If you feel like you want to help out, that's great. If you don't, she should not have access to your money or you may be going to college with nothing. Not the asshole, you should open an account separate from hers. The idea of sharing amongst the group is a sweet sentiment but can be taken too far easily. You should have things that are just your own. And if I gave someone money for their graduation, I would hope it would go towards their expenses, not their family's expenses. Not the asshole. Open up a bank account in a bank other than hers. Your sister is the golden child. Accept it. Am I the asshole for refusing to speak to my dad after I ruined his life? Hi. I'm Ashton. For some backstory. I, 17M, have two older sisters. Jamie, 22F, and Hannah, 25F. Jamie and I have the same parents, but Hannah has a different dad. That hasn't really affected us much growing up, as my dad Damien, 46M, adopted her when she was a baby. My parents are divorced, and Hannah and my dad don't talk anymore because he is a very manipulative and selfish person. He constantly feels the need to make himself the victim. The reason they don't talk anymore is because when I was 11, my dad told me he thought my sister's career would never go anywhere and that she was being stupid for thinking it would. Since I was a kid, I immediately told my sister and that was her final straw. Jamie and I still try to maintain somewhat of a relationship with our dad, just because we just want to try. I recently went through driver's ed, which if you don't know is very expensive. Before I even went to class, my mom texted my dad to make sure he would help pay for it, which he promised he would. Well, a few weeks ago my class ended, and my dad still hadn't paid a cent. My mom messaged him to ask him to pay it, and word for word, this was his response. Well, Ashton and Hannah hate me. At least Jamie has a heart, but Ashton and Hannah wouldn't even come to my funeral. Ashton ruined my life and is the reason Hannah doesn't talk to me anymore. Congratulations, you got what you want. The kids hate me and I'm sure they're very nice to you. Keep in mind that I honestly hadn't talked to him in a while before this, so I don't really know where he got this from. And the last time we hung out was with Jamie, so I don't know why she was favorited. My mom replied, Damien, the relationship you have with our children is 100% on you. There is nothing I can do or they can do to change how they feel about you. Hannah not talking to you is your own fault. You do not get to live in this fantasy world where you're constantly the victim. To which he replied, that's not fantasy, it's just how it is. He isn't getting a penny from me when he doesn't even care about me. Honestly, I've been more confused if anything. I haven't done anything or said anything to him that would give him this impression. I think he's just saying it because he's mad at me for something I did 6 years ago. But whatever it is, I don't want to deal with it. He's tried to text and call but I haven't even read them. I'm honestly really done. But, my grandma and stepmom have also been bombarding me with texts. A few of them which I read, most of them were just saying, wow, you're really gonna make him lose another kid? He does everything for you. My mom does and has paid for everything for us for the past 7 years. He doesn't even pay his child support anymore. I just want to make sure that there is no way here that I am in the wrong. So am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your mom pegged him perfectly. He wants to be the victim and is trying to gaslight you into believing it. That being said, I'll bet this isn't out of the blue. I'd be willing to bet that it has something to do with your sister. He may have tried to reach out to her or something reminded him of her and that reminded him of you telling her what he said. Just remember, he's so out there that he will blame an 11 years old before he will take an ounce of responsibility for what happened. It was all his fault and he just can't handle that fact. Do his wife and mother knows he's not been paying child support? Now might be a good time to drop that into conversation. Not the asshole he sounds like a deadbeat and a very unhealthy person emotionally for you. He'd rather torpedo your relationship and start drama than fork out some cash for something you needed. That is so manipulative it's crazy. I'd be done too. Not the asshole. At 11, you ruined his life. Is he secretly a 14-year-old? Info. Does your grandmother know he doesn't do anything? It sounds like he fed her a different story.